All right, you're asking for it, so here it is. Listen to this.
I want you fucking laughing at we partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, swinging, all that shit, dog. We sweating, getting wet, and all that.
Welcome to the 132nd episode of the Drinking Partners podcast. This is the Magic Johnson episode because he was one of the greatest, and you can live through anything if magic made it. And that's how we do this podcast. It's a rough start. Two Negroes in Pittsburgh in the craft beer scene. It's a long shot. It's definitely a long shot to success. But somehow we're still here, and I don't think people thought we were going to make it.
Yeah, and also neither one of us that we're aware of have AIDS.
From my understanding, I got checked a little while ago. They told me I didn't, but it's been like 3 months. Maybe it's time. Which is a great awareness. Hey, go get checked out, man. There's usually some sort of center around you that you can go for free and get free STDs tests if you're in Pittsburgh, down in Oakland, right there on what is that, Fifth Ave or Forbes?
and Liberty downtown.
The Liberty downtown? Yeah, there it is.
It
was that the Planned Parenthood?
Yep.
Here it is. It's costs you nothing, man. It costs you nothing to be safe. So
point is, be responsible.
Be responsible. There it is. I am half of your hosting tandem, Dave Bracey. I am joined here with you've heard him on the podcast before, part of the Epicast family through Growing Up Human Comic Peoples, Jared Evans. Say what up to the people, man.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? We're back, and we're going to talk a lot of nonsense because we've been drinking for a little while now. So.
This is the second episode is always a little looser, And if you've ever listened to a podcast with us and Jared and grown up folks, it gets crazy. So strap in.
Fuck your seatbelts.
And we are Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, and Google Play under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. 132 episodes, man. We've been asking you. We're going to continue to ask you, man. Please hop on iTunes, rate and review. That's how we know what we're doing well. That's how we let others know that we're doing well. And that's how we continue to do well. So please, man, hop on iTunes, rate and review. You see us in public, you tell us that you love us. Now hop on and tell other people that you love us. It's pretty easy.
It helps the visibility of the podcast.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's a very, very succinct way of saying what I just said in about 13 paragraphs.
We tell people to rate and review all the time, but none of us have iTunes, so I'm not sure if anybody actually does it.
Yeah, I don't have iTunes, so I can't even read the reviews. I always got to ask somebody yo, can you tell us if we're getting good reviews?
It's like when someone gets on the street and they're like, hey man, can you use your phone real fast? You're like, no, weirdo, fuck.
I'm definitely that dude. I gotta check my reviews, bro. Look, man, let me just give me 5 minutes.
This fucking podcast is all hanging out outside this bar trying to ask people for reviews and shit.
True. So please, hop on, rate and review. Now, if you're listening and you're like, man, these guys sound super smooth, man. We're not that smooth in real life, you know what I mean? But by the end of all this, it'll sound super smooth to you because Epicast, man, they make the thing work. They put a lot of time in. Buzzy and Nick, man, shout out to the fam. They put a lot of time in to make this sound super smooth. I was actually talking to the Conways, and Conways are a couple that they're huge in the comedy scene. They come out a lot of shows, they support or whatever. And one of the things that she mentioned, yesterday, she was like, your sound quality is super good. And I was like, that's Epicast, man. So if you're looking to get your podcast to sound better, maybe you want to start your own podcast, you need help promoting an event, or you want to advertise your product on an award-winning podcast. So there's this one. City Paper told us we were the best, and we just we carry that cross, we carry that burden. Go to epicastnetwork.com/services, fill out the form, and tell them that the Drinking Partner sent you, man. Also, the City Paper is doing their annual best of. So log on and please vote for us. We would love to win that chip back to back like the Penguins. It seems like we're it's the season for that. So hop on. I don't know what the website is, but it's City Paper. Google that shit. And hop on and please vote for us. We'd love to back to back on that.
You could vote for drink partners or any of the other Epicast.
Any of the Epicast family. Last year we had two. You know what I mean? In the we had it was ourselves and Marta. Shout out to Marta on the Move. You know what I mean? So yeah, any of the Epicast folks or whatever, we'd love shit. We can get all three of us. You know what I mean? Like in that. Yeah. Be dope. You know what I mean? Just have Epicast with that whole title.
I couldn't help myself.
Oh no! If you're not doing it right, if you ain't, I always felt like because I had Scott on, for Pittsburgh from the last podcast, and I'm over here pitching like, yeah, vote for us, and I'm like,
sorry, Scott.
Yeah, my man. But yeah, any of the Epicast family that and that's the thing about like this whole thing. We support other folks or whatever, and like we realize that if somebody else is doing well, like we're doing well as well. You know what I mean? Like just letting people know what a podcast is. I just sat at the bar. We released our collaboration with Mindful, and we had a little release party or whatever down there, and I sat next to a guy and actually for a half hour explained to him what a podcast was and how he could listen to it. I mean, that's the environment, that we're in at times. So I mean, like, anybody that gets any kind of recognition for doing what we're doing, I'm for it. I mean, absolutely. I'm always, because it's not just us. It's a scene. You know what I mean? Like, so collaboration. So vote for Epicast.
Especially the Epicast family is pretty fucking cool. And if to go back to if you're going to do your podcast on here, you get to meet cool people like we're talking to right now.
Exactly.
So be part of the family. Come hang out with cool motherfuckers.
There it is. We got an event coming up August 26th down at Comptra Theater. We'll have Quincy Jones down there headlining. He's got an HBO special. Check out his HBO special and then come down and have a drink with him down at Comptra Theater in Cranberry. August 26th. As always, it's BYOB. We will have a beer sponsor giving out free booze, and it's a packed lineup. We got Chanel Ali coming out from New York. We got Mark Caesar coming in from Louisiana. We got Jared Berenstein coming in from Cali for that show. So it's going to be a packed lineup, and we're excited to see that, and you should be too. So come through. Again, that's August 26th, Comptra Theater, and if you're looking for tickets, you can find them on ComtraTheater.ticketleap.com.
Nice. Quincy Jones is cool as fuck. You should definitely come out and see him because he's a cool dude. If he's gonna hang out and have a drink with him, he's real cool.
He headlined the festival last year.
Yeah,
and then was like, hey, like I'm gonna be in town. Like, can I? So he's gonna be on the festival, and then he's gonna go do some. With us. He's got another show that night down in Club Cafe. And like last year, like he did his shows. He stuck around, did a bonus show that Saturday. Then he went to the after party and was DJing the after party. Like who? Like who's doing that? And like that's not, So shout out to Quincy, man. And then he came and did a podcast with us. So it's super dope guy. And he did a podcast with Does Us Hold Up as well.
Right? At the I listened to that one.
Yeah. So super cool guy. Come check him out. And actually, Grown Up Human Comic People. You guys will be down at the Comedy Festival in August.
Yep.
Still working out the details. I believe it'll be like a Saturday or whatever. But look for details for that coming out soon. But you will get to see live with Sasha, the headliner of the Comedy Festival.
Yeah, we actually haven't done a live one per se. We've done a show in front of some people, but not really a live show proper. So it'll be fun. It'll be our first one, and come to check it out. You can find us at grownuphumans.com. If you want to listen to some of our past episodes, we have some good shit. Dan and I just did. I don't know, Dave, if you listened to it, but we just did an ayahuasca episode because Dan and I we had an ayahuasca. We did a ceremony. And that's like the strongest psychedelic experience you can have.
Yeesh.
And so that episode is really interesting. If you want to, it has nothing to do with comics. Fair warning. Usually we do comics, but that one is really intense. So, we've gotten some good feedback on it. So check it out.
Nice.
Yeah.
But you guys will be down there with Sashir Zamata, the headliner for the Pittsburgh Comedy Festival, man. So look out for details. Get tickets for that and see these guys, interact and get geeky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess we'll have to make him read a book or two.
True. Nice. So we got our guest here today from Helicon Brewing. You guys have been killing shit. I mean here recently. Chris Brunetti. Chris Brunetti. Buzzy. Edit that shit.
It's fair. Like you only learned his name like 5 minutes.
3 minutes, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. Yeah. Chris Brunetti from Helicon Brewing is down here. Say what up to the people.
Hey guys, what's happening?
Nice. That very much fits your glasses. That was a very.
You have an appropriate last name though for what you do.
Yeah. So unfortunately, the brewery was taken as a name. A great place out on the West Coast. That might be my first choice if it wasn't reserved.
Yeah. So there's a Brunetti Brewing already.
Well, the brewery, Brewery, out in
I see.
Yeah, great place.
Gotcha.
Oh, brewery.
Yeah.
They
They took my name back from in the day.
Yeah.
Jerks.
Yeah.
You know, they got a fried bologna sandwich down there at the brewery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a train station or anything.
Fried bologna, I don't know.
I actually love fried bologna. I'm a big, it is basically a hot dog. It's a flat hot dog. So if you like hot dogs, then you like bologna. You know what I mean? I don't like raw bologna because I don't like raw hot dogs. You know what I mean? But fry that bitch up a little bit of butter. You know what I mean? Throw some cheese and a little mayonnaise on that bitch. Throw some chips. You throw the chips on that bitch for the texture. You get the crunchiness in there, man. That is a great struggle meal, man.
See, I also grew up in a single parent household, and so I always had Braunschweiger.
What the fuck is a Braunschweiger?
You know Braunschweiger, Chris? Okay, so Braunschweiger is like a weird meat, like it's almost like a paste. You can spread it on bread, and it's delicious and gross at the same time.
Yeah, not like a pate type thing.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah.
If you're alive today, so clearly. So do you eat it now? Is it a thing you still eat?
Oh no, I have not had it in a very long
time. Like, there's a lot of struggle meals. I'm like, I got me like spam. I'm not spam. It's just there's no part of me that's eating spam in it today. I mean, but bologna was one of those things that was like, I got to a point where I was like, I don't need to. I can afford more than this, so I'm gonna get some. But then I got it back into it, and I was like, man, this actually isn't. I mean, I can't eat it on a regular. But once in a while, I'll go down and get a little half a pound, fry that shit up, and have a heart attack.
A little ghetto treat.
Yeah. I mean, it just kind of reminds you. You're like, I remember this. I remember Kool-Aid.
So Chris, tell us about just give us like a brief outline of like your brewery and like how you guys kind of got to where you are right now.
Sure. All right. So we opened up back in November, a little production brewery. It's not a brew pub, right on the Panhandle Trail. So lots of trail traffic. And we just wanted to make some German lagers, American ales, basically the things we like to drink. We want to make on a large scale and share with people. So Andy's the head brewer. He does a great job. He's kind of killing it. I brought some samples for us to try here in a bit. And see what you guys think
right now.
Yeah,
this is drinking partners. We don't.
You are now the leader of this endeavor. So you tell us what we're drinking, and we'll start drinking it.
Yeah.
Right. So, kind of one of our flagship beers is a Helis Lager. It's a German lager. It's about 4.9% alcohol. Very light. I like to think of it as a transition beer. So we have a lot of people that stop in and say, hey, I drink Bud Miller Coors.
Yeah, sure.
What do you have that's like that?
Yeah.
If we gave these guys an Imperial Stout or something barrel-aged
they're done.
Yeah. So just sort of as a first step, it's like, try this golden lager. So give you guys a sample, maybe give me a sample, and see what you guys think.
Yeah, I mean... and that's the thing that, is a theme that I'm starting to see more often now with brewers. Like brewers are, bringing out these onboarding beers. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, hey, because that's the thing that I got from a lot of people. It was just like, I don't drink. Because they all think when they think craft beer, they think IPA, super hoppy, punch you in the face, bitter, and they're like, I just want to watch the game and not, so it is nice to have these you can have what you've been having, but with some character,
a little better
flavor, some body. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
it takes there's actual ingredients in this.
Yeah.
In fact, cheers.
Yeah.
So what is a German lager?
So it's basically a Bud Miller Coors product without any corn or rice. Nice. So it's an all malt European lager, and it's just very low bitterness, very low flavor intensity. Just meant to drink all day. I enjoy drinking all day, every day.
Yeah.
And you can't do that with a nice double IPA as much as I'd like to.
Nah, and unless you want to start like talking about your demons. Like,
Yeah. We'll get into that in a bit, but
I like that philosophy though. I like to drink all day, every day.
yeah, when you got a brewery, man, that's how it goes, and it's part of the job.
Yeah.
So the head brewer, he's a fan, and he brews what he likes to drink, and he does it pretty well. So
Is this wheat?
100% malt.
Malt.
Yep, it's all Pilsner malt and 1 sack of crystal malt. So very, very simple.
What's a crystal malt? Is that the sugary or candied or what is it?
So it's kilned a little bit differently. It caramelizes some of the starches and gives a sweet taste to it. So we use there's different flavor intensities and colors. So we just use one of the lightest.
Nice. No, this is like, definitely you get that malt. Clean finish, and like you said, it's heavily drinkable, and it's very like a nice, it's a session, you know what I mean, a lawn beer. I mean, you can mow the lawn, you can sit on the porch, the whole nine.
Oh yeah, if I were hot and I'd just been doing some hard work, I could probably like chug like half of one of these and be like, nice, I'm refreshed now.
Softball beer, you get the little league or whatever, you got a little case on the side. Because anybody that's taking softball too, I hate the motherfuckers that get the little Pittsburgh leagues and they're like, yeah, we're chatting. They take it too. I'm like, nigga, I got a brew, and how does we just out here bullshit? We all grown ass adults out here just trying to have a good time. You trying to win, like you trying to live out your fucking dreams, like
it's like, no, I have a beer to drink.
Yeah.
So can we just hurry this along?
You know what I mean?
Like, I'm not trying to, like, just swing.
Yeah.
Like, don't wait for the perfect pitch.
Nah, just swing.
Fucking swing so I can get a beer, please. It's hot out here.
I'm sitting on base and you sitting there waiting for the motherfucker. Like, nigga, get me off this motherfucker. Can we get a pitch again? I mean,
I'm going to be honest with you. Last time I played softball, I had this exact handle.
Oh, God. I don't know.
Sitting next to me in the field, actually.
Dude, shit, man. That's fucking shit. I don't know. Like, my God. This Heaven Hill. What the fuck is
it? For those of you who can't see what we're talking about, I always bring a bottle of Heaven Hill just to regulate, just to make sure everyone's on the same level here with every podcast we do.
I feel like I want to like talk about like your past, because I feel like you drink what you feel you deserve, and I feel like you deserve better than but like that's like why?
Okay, first of all, you've drank with me like just like hanging out as friends and shit. So like I do drink better shit.
Oh, you drink great shit. You have aged shit. I mean, if anybody's listening to this, like, what is it, episode 98? Like, you brought the quads or whatever. Like, I mean, you've educated me with some shit. So you do drink great shit. But then you go, but I guess that's my bologna sandwich.
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Sometimes you have to come back to something that sucks real. Like, okay, this first of all, it doesn't suck especially for the price. It does not suck. But
for the price, I mean, it's in a plastic bottle. No matter how like whatever you say, whatever accolades you get, let's be like it's in a plastic bottle. We're going to start from there.
It's a handle that costs $16. Okay. Now, for being so Chris, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Heaven Hill.
I'm a little bit of a bourbon guy, but that's new to me.
Yeah, okay. I love bourbon.
Now, you had a shot of it earlier for $16. Was it that bad of a shot?
I'm ready for another one anytime.
Boom! There you go. Chris and I are friends now.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah, it's my bologna sandwich.
Here's the philosophy, right? The philosophy is that if you drink this like kind of on the regular, when you have something nice, you're like, man, that's great.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Like this will like make me feel all right. But if I want to have something I want to like take a break and relax at home and have like a really nice bourbon, I take a sip of that. I'm like, man, that's so much better than Heaven Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what it is. I mean, it's definitely a nice party thing you kind of take around or whatever. And then sometimes I get into that situation where like I go to a party or whatever, and like I don't always want to bring the fucking $35 bottle and have a couple sips, and then it just like, and because I never leave the house with whatever I bring. That's just there. I think it's super rude to bring alcohol to somebody's
and then take it home
and then take it home.
Yeah, that's shitty.
Yeah, that's why I love the whole 6-pack thing and like the 12-packs, because then I can go like bringing a whole 24-pack to a party. It's like I'm only gonna have a few of these.
Especially if it's like a $45,
Exactly, especially for some good shit. You know what I mean? But like, I can get a good 6-pack of some good shit, and I'm cool leaving it there, or you know what I mean? Hoping that everybody partakes in that. So, yeah. So
Chris, I'm sorry. No, you're gonna say. Oh yeah, please. Yes, please have
Yes,
more.
partake.
Yes. In fact, like I said, Chris and I can be friends now.
You know what? I'm actually going to have a little bit more of that. I mean, you sold me. Now I feel like, hey, you know what? All right, let's appreciate the classics.
You're hearing it right now. Dave Bracey is succumbing to the temptation of the heaven hell. It's happening right now. I remember the first time I saw this guy drink this, it looked like he was going to die.
I folded. We were at this after party, and like I had a lot of shit in my system, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then they fucking gave me this shit, and I was just like, that's it, we're done. I'm going home. I literally, it was like 5 minutes, and I was like, we're done here. I had about 5 more hours of party in me, and it took it down to 5 minutes.
I could do no more good here. But let's get. I actually really like this beer, Chris. What's it called?
So it's just we name our beers by style.
Okay.
So this is just our Helis Lager.
Okay.
And kind of one of the point is when I look for beers, if I'm out in a good beer bar, I like beers that are below 5% alcohol and below $5. Mm-hmm. So we try and keep our beers cheap and drinkable. It's kind of hard to find beers like that.
Yeah, but that's a wonderful thing to hear. I like that.
Yeah, so we try to have several like that on our place. Most of our beers are 5.25 to 4.75. Okay. And this is 4.9%, so it's meant to drink all day.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I mean, especially with the wave of higher ABVs and the whole nine, like that's a whole niche. You know what I mean? Like, because not everybody, like, even you have lightweights, you have people that aren't like me. My tolerance is, my liver is just a whole nother fucking like animal. It's not going to last too long. You know what I mean? Like, but for the casual drinker, sure. For the person that doesn't have, parent issues, like, for do you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Super dope.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I just don't like to drink, I can't afford to drink $8 or $9 beers all day long.
Oh, no. And eight or nine, like that is, my God, like especially in this market, especially in Pittsburgh, like $8 or $9, man. That's a
Well, if you're charging $8 or $9 for a beer, that better be a goddamn good beer.
Yeah,
like a really
good beer. Better be like one of those like one-off kind of maybe once a year hot, like just kind of you put your whole fucking life into that bitch. Like, you don't. Yeah, no, because this ain't DC.
Yeah. You hopped this for quite some time.
Yeah,
like you spent a lot of money on hops.
Yeah. True. So Helicon, why'd you name it that?
Okay, so that's a great story. The Oakdale, we're located in Oakdale, PA. It's in the West Hills, kind of close to the Robinson area. Oakdale formed in 1882 out of North and South Fayette. It was a little town built up on some railroad tracks there. And so before Oakdale was North and South Fayette, if you go all the way back in time till the first time the Commonwealth of PA gave a land grant in 1798 to Judge Hugh Henry Breckinridge, it was for 400 acres, which includes all of present-day Oakdale, but it was much more than that. The name on the warranty deed was Mount Helicon. So the original name of Oakdale was Mount Helicon. There's a Wikipedia page for it if you want to see it. But so our logo is so Mount Helicon is an actual mountain in Greece, and the logo is a Greek harp with a stem of barley in the middle.
Oh, nice.
So that's sort of how it came out.
Man, so what did you do before you were before this whole? Because I mean, you sound like a history teacher.
No. So
I wouldn't happen upon that information. Like, that's not a weird Google. Like, I spend a lot of time Googling and on Wikipedia, and I get into the rabbit hole of like Wikipedia or whatever. But I still would have never found that information out.
Yeah. So what happened was after I signed the lease on the building, Oakdale's really kind of not known for positive things, maybe floods and explosions and stuff. Something you can't name a brewery after.
Explosions? Like meth explosions that we're talking about?
No, it was an ammunition factory back in 1911. It was global news, and it was really a famous thing. There's news articles from Paris about an Oakdale, PA explosion.
Oh, like the Arsenal explosion too.
Yeah. Okay. So, but after I signed the lease on the building, I wasn't sure where to go with it. So the municipal building sells History of Oakdale books for $10. And I bought one and I read it on a Saturday. And the little story I told you was in the first page, the first paragraph. So I sort of knew that would be the name of the brewery, but I read the book anyway. Lots of good potential names in there if anybody else wants to open a brewery in Oakdale. I sort of knew that's what it would be.
Nice. But so you still didn't answer the question. What did you do before?
Okay. I'm trying to avoid it. I'm dodging. I was ducking it.
Yeah.
But you called me.
I was,
so that's
I
cool.
was a mail review in a mail review.
No, it's terribly uninteresting. Just a computer programmer.
Okay.
So I went to Pitt. I was a Pitt student. Sort of how I got my start in craft beer way back in the day. And people thought I was crazy to be a reasonably successful electrical engineer with a good programming job to go make beer. But you got to do what you love.
Yeah.
Man, that is a reoccurring theme on this podcast.
I
man.
agree 100%.
So wait, you got your craft beer beginnings at Pitt?
Yeah, there was a little place out there that's near and dear to my heart to this day called Mad Mex.
Yeah, Mad Mex, they got the little fucking like tequila flights for like $10-$12, something like that. That was a nice little what do you call that, a happy hour type thing.
You're welcome, Mad Max, for that shout out.
Yeah,
That was free.
Well, so what happened was that back when I was a student in the late 90s, they had half-price appetizers and beers after 11 o'clock. So
do that.
my buddy said, you have to go down here and try this beer. So I was never much of a beer guy. I was into other things.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
And
as we tend to do.
Yeah.
And so for the first time, I tried a good beer, and it was a Pete's Wicked Ale, and it changed my mind like forever about beer. And from then on, I became a beer enthusiast. A few years later, I became a home brewer, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
Did you get, like, when you homebrew, did you start out with that shitty beginner set?
A Mr.
The Mr. Beer Kit? Yeah, like
the little brown barrel.
Yeah, I mean, those always come out fucking terrible. Like, I mean, they like some of them are drinkable, but like nobody is ever like, you know what, you're on to something here. Like, you should monetize this. Like, I mean, like nobody. So like, how did you go from Mr. Beer Kit to like,
So just always trying to get better. I only brewed with a Mr. Beer twice out of the 3 it comes with, and kind of disappointed. But reading up on it more, so sort of my personal motto is anything worth doing is worth overdoing. So breweries like Helicon Brewing is what happens to people who have that attitude.
Yeah.
I consider it my 5th generation homebrewing equipment. So it was Mr. Beer, a 2-gallon pot, a 5-gallon pot, a 10-gallon system, and then this.
Nice.
So,
What does BBL mean?
BBO?
There's all the barrels, the things. It says BBL, like 10 BBL, 20.
BBL. Yeah. So that's the abbreviation for barrel.
But there's 2 B's.
I thought it was big
I know.
black ladies.
Big,
I don't know. I like
big bold loggers.
I don't know the history of the acronym, but yeah, it's a 31 U.S. gallons.
31 U.S. gallons.
So that's how you pay taxes to the feds, is based on your barrels of production. Helicon is a 15 barrel or a 15 BBL production system. Sometimes we're able to squeak out 16 barrels. Sometimes for a nice big IPA, if we dry hop the shit out of it, we might only get 14 barrels. Hops kind of soak up a lot of stuff. So you end up with less in the tank. That's kind of why they're more expensive.
I didn't know that. See, fucking 3 years of doing this, I didn't know that that's why they were more expensive, because it was less product given what you put in.
Yeah, exactly.
Is for barrels, like a full barrel, whenever you say you go to the distributor and get like a keg as a half barrel, that's
it's 15 and a half gallons.
15 and a half, yeah.
15 and a half. So
Right.
With the 15 barrel system, every time we run it, we get 30 kegs.
Okay.
30 half barrel kegs.
Right.
So you know what I mean, you were saying how like, you got to do what you love or whatever, and you had like a, comfy existence, and then you like take us through that leap. Like, I mean, like, you're cool, you're like, I like this thing, I got this comfy gig, but I'm gonna go like throw all this away and gamble on this. Like, what gave you the confidence to do that?
Was it scary?
Yeah, it's dumb scary.
Yeah, a lot of drinking. Is the short answer. I enjoyed a lot of success as a computer programmer, and I've always worked for startup companies and sort of like these new entrepreneurial things. And I went through several buyout events, and it was nice. You get a little bit of compensation, but there were tons of people making tons of money off of things that, that the engineering teams were doing. It wasn't just me. There were teams of 30, 40 people that maybe you get a year's salary out of it, but there were people making tons and tons of money. And it's sort of frustrating because I'm putting all the sweat into it and really working hard. Yeah. So I was like, you know what, maybe I decided at some point I wanted to make a small business and do something for me and my family and my friends, and, trying to figure out what made sense to do. And, back in 2008, a brewery seemed like a good idea.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I was going to ask, because I looked up your soft open date, which was fairly recent, right?
November 12th.
Yeah. And I was going to say, how did you feel? Because there have been a lot of local kind of breweries popping up. Did it was it extra nerve wracking to know that there's do you consider them competition, or do you say I'm just going to kind of join the club? Because it seems like it's like a good community. How do you feel about there being a lot of?
Yeah, so that's a great question. My motto is "Rising water raises all ships."
There it is.
Yeah.
The craft, I don't know the exact statistics these days, but the last I saw was craft beer was only 13% of the market.
Yeah.
So, there is a lot of room for everybody to grow. Yeah. And I think that's why there's all this camaraderie and friendship in the brewing community, is because, it's growing, it's booming. We have a long way to go to compete with the big guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I would never think how do you feel about Budweiser? It's who gives a shit about Budweiser? But
I don't hate the big guys. The ICAF cases of Coors Original and Miller Lite in my fridge. I'm not a snob about it.
You know what? We had Zach from Brixton Brewing on, and
he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a super cool dude, and we were first time we hung out at a party or whatever. He was like, "Oh, you got Coors? Yeah, I'll take that." And I was like, "The fuck, Coors?" And and he was like, "No, it's a really well made beer. You know what I mean? It's good. I'm like, ah. So then I tried it because I'd never had a Coors before. I've had Coors Light, which is just donkey piss, but an actual Coors, I didn't know. That, I mean, they even made Coors.
It's not horrible.
No, it's actually pretty decent. It's got some body on it, a little flavor. It's I wasn't mad at it in any way, shape, or form. So to hear you also say, Coors, yeah, that makes sense.
You're welcome, Coors. That was free.
It's my heaven hill.
Bologna sandwiches. Yeah, we
there you go. Chris is you're part of the club now.
They call that a callback. That's a comedy term, man. Yeah. If you ever get into the business, you've got one.
He's already in the business with us.
Oh man. So why did you choose that community?
Well, I didn't really choose the community. The community chose me. So it's very difficult finding a location to build a brewery. I know there's lots of people out there looking for places to build a brewery. They're very utility intensive. You need the right electrical requirements. You need the right water requirements. Sewage capacity is huge. Zoning is huge. In Western PA, it's kind of mostly agricultural, especially out in the suburbs. So you can't really just put a brewery wherever you want. It's kind of hard to find a location. And I just happened to stumble across this place in Oakdale, and it worked out. In general, so I don't own the space. I have a landlord. And most landlords want to lease office space, commercial space. You get much more per square foot than industrial production. Also, local communities, they really want office space because that's more jobs, more higher paying jobs. They don't want industrial production. Everybody has this terrible view of industrial production. So to find a borough or a township that supports industrial production and a landlord that's willing to put up with, a third of the price, it worked out pretty well. It seems though that if you said to the community, okay, it's going to be an industrial space, but you're going to be able to come here and get some beers, they'd be like, well, we can work with you. Yeah, absolutely. And the community's been great, and everything has been absolutely excellent. After I signed the lease, the borough has, during the summer, pretty much every month, they shut the streets down and have drinking parties in the street. So you don't see that too often in rural communities. But I was like, I know I love this town. It's excellent. So I do too now. That sounds awesome. Yeah. You guys should come out.
When is that?
Every month. Right now, there's a fireman's event that happens for the next week. So they will shut the streets down every single day at 6:00, and it's just drinking in the streets for the next week and a half.
What?
Yeah. So it's kind of fun. We're donating a bunch of kegs to the Oakdale Firemen's Department, and that's for this month. They're doing Oktoberfest. They have a luau. There's events all the time.
That's like right down the street from me. So I'm like, I didn't know this was a thing that even existed. So I won't motherfucking be there.
We might have to make a road trip.
Yeah, like, because I mean, everything that I do, like, I live in Beaver, which is about 40 minutes north or whatever. So like that, like Oakdale's like in the middle. So anytime that I can drive less to get fucked up, then you know what I mean? Like, I'm about that life. So.
Oh yeah. So you heard it here first. During this Oakdale drinking event, you can probably find me and Day, somewhere
in there wandering around, blitz out of our fucking mind, like you know. And if you ask us about this podcast, we might not remember what the fuck we were talking about, so you might have to give us a little bit of a reminder.
That's true.
So what else did you bring us over here? He's got a couple of those other rounds. I'm looking more like
Yeah. So I brought just 2 growlers of the Helis Lager and one of our Amber IPA. So it's this is sort of what happens when you brew a 15-barrel batch of a red ale and then you dilute it down to maybe try and get 18 barrels out of it. Sure. It kind of turns brown. Oh. So it's not red, but it's exactly our red ale recipe. So
can we try that?
Yeah.
Yes, I love red ales. I'm telling you right now. I love red ales.
I am a fan of the red ales.
Yeah.
No, that is brown.
I'll make this sound dirty.
He wasn't lying. It was brown.
We like to call it amber, but
amber. Is that,
that's a better word.
Yeah. It's definitely sexier. It's more appealing. I mean, amber. Like, you know what I mean? It sounds like
marketing,
like a beer. It sounds like a beer you want to take home. You know what I mean? Like.
I had so many thoughts about that, but I'm not going to say any of them.
Oh yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah, that's refreshing. These beers are refreshing. Yeah. Is how I would describe them. Like,
I would drink this one like all evening, probably.
So that's 7.1%. So you got to be a little
7.1,
a little more careful.
That
with
is
it.
Deceptive.
Yeah,
you brewers are getting really, really good at hiding the fucking ABVs. I don't know how do you guys do that? Because I remember I used to be able to just drink a beer
What do you mean? What do you mean, you brewers?
Yeah.
What
do you mean? You people. Okay.
I couldn't. I'm sorry. That was a bad one. That was cheap.
The brewing community. Brewer Americans.
Brewer Americans. I was gonna say that.
Copyright that shit, man.
Brewer Americans.
So you Brewer Americans have been making it really easy to drink beer.
But I used to be able to drink and then know exactly what, I'd be like, that's about a 5, or that's about a 7, or that's about an 8, or whatever. And now I don't know what the fuck I'm drinking anymore. You know what I mean? I've completely lost that. And it's crazy because I'm drinking more beer, but I'm getting worse at being able to gauge it. What are you guys doing?
Well, the same thing as everybody else, right? As everybody is getting better at brewing beers with all this new breweries open up. Everybody's trying to make better beer. If you do things like ferment at the right temperature and pay attention to quality, you just make nice, light, drinkable beers. And I'm not saying it hides it, but it's it's not a harsh solventy mess.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, when I say hot, it's just you don't have that same that afterburn kind of, that. And sometimes I'm in a mood for that. Sometimes because it lets me know all right, well, this is what I'm drinking or whatever. But you don't want that all the time. Especially throughout the night, if you're gonna have a few, you don't need to do that. I want to focus on flavor.
Yeah, I think the answer is science.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the answer.
There it is, science
to everything, really.
Yeah. Once you get it down, and really, it's all just science. Science,
but
hard as fuck.
You're sciencing really, really well with this beer. This is a very drinkable beer at 7. Would you say 7.1? 1?
Yeah.
No, this is great.
A high compliment. Thank you.
Yeah.
And this man knows his alcohol. I mean, he knows it all the way from fucking Heaven Hill up to quads from Weyerbacher.
I feel bad that I didn't bring something better today.
Oh no, you're good, man. You brought yourself.
Wow. Stop.
Yeah, I know.
You guys want a hug or something? Come on.
It's crazy, like podcasting, like so, like especially when you get like alcohol or whatever, you forget that the mics are here, and like sometimes I forget that like I'm actually on a podcast, like I'm just having a conversation with motherfuckers. You know what I mean? So. That's super dope.
That's the beauty of podcasting is that like, if you get the right people on, you get to have a regular conversation and you get to have other people enjoy it with you.
There it is. I mean, community. Mm-hmm. So where do you see Helicon going? Because so now you got there are brewers. There's a lot of brewers coming up or whatever. And I've heard a lot of theories as to what folks think, like, the bubble and, competition and, growth. And, then you got the brewers that, like, get bought out. And, like, there's so many. Like, where do you see Helicon, going? Like, what's your.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure. We'll see how it goes, where the ride takes me. I think it's an excellent time to be a craft beer enthusiast. Especially in Pittsburgh, because lately there's been some excellent breweries opening up, and everybody's getting better. The local beers are improving, month to month. With all the new places that open, lots of great things. And I think in time, a lot of the beers that aren't so good are going to shake out, and it's only going to be good beers. And then ultimately, the prices are going to drop. Because, once everybody's making great beer, the competitive factor will be pricing. So I think in the next couple of years, there's going to be a lot of people making really good beer at a really affordable price. And that's great news for Pittsburgh craft beer enthusiasts.
That's great news for me. I'm excited. Like, wait, we're getting this shit cheaper? Like, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy, right? Because I know technology works like that. You know what I mean? Like you get it out there or whatever, and then the means of production, like, fall or whatever, and then it gets cheaper or whatever. But I didn't know beer was like that. Like, PA is the most expensive state to buy beer. I believe that shit. It costs you fucking like $13 just to drive into this goddamn state. Like from Ohio, I go over to Ohio and I get all the fucking cheap booze. I get it at gas stations and shit. Like I could do. It's like a fucking it's a drinking wonderland. And then coming back in on that fucking turnpike.
Like guess what?
Yeah, like
it's gonna be $20.
$20 just to come into this motherfucker. So I believe that this is the highest fucking in the country. Hey Buzzy, who should I write a letter to about that shit?
Who knows?
Oh yeah, whoever, man. Whoever's fuck you, and you just all the goddamn construction. I don't let me even get on my shit, man. But nah, I mean, because I live where I live on the border of like Ohio, so I'm always coming in and out, and that fucking tax is a bit, and it's either pay it or take an extra hour to get to where the fuck you need to be. You motherfucker, you goddamn
that one turnpike. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
that turnpike entrance from PA to Ohio, that one, because on the way out it's free.
It's like 50 cents to get into Ohio.
Oh well, the PA one, it's free. Like you just drive right past the toll booth, and you're like, what is? I thought I had to pay.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, but on the way back, it's going to be like 8 times as expensive.
Yeah.
Welcome to PA.
Yeah. Welcome to PA. Pull your pants down. Rectum check, fucking PA.
So I'm gonna chug the rest of this beer because I have to go to work. But Chris, wonderful to meet you. Thank you for the beers. They were delicious.
Cheers, dude.
I would love to talk to you about them more, but alas, I have to go do some radical trivia. Go to radicaltrivia.com.
Radical Trivia? Where can they find that at?
Oh, they can find all the schedule at radicaltrivia.com. If you want to hear people like me or other people swear at you on a microphone and do some trivia, it's a lot of fun around town. Live events, it's free. Just come out and just go to radicaltrivia.com and come out and drink with us and win some free shit. It's fun. So
super dope, man.
Dave, thank you for having me again. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming down. We appreciate you always. You know what I mean, Epicast is the family.
Does that mean the Heaven Hill's gone?
No, you guys can have that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Like, you know what? I'm balling.
I already have one in the car. It's fine. you guys have fun with that.
Appreciate you, sir.
All right. Peace up. 8 time down.
All right. Man. This is again. This is a very very drinkable brew. So where do you get your inspirations from?
Just as home brewers, Andy and I both like to brew beers to style. So we were both competitive brewers, entering competitions. He enjoyed far more success than I. Why
do you think? Where do you because it's weird because you have these beer competitions or whatever. What makes a winner? You know what I mean, versus somebody, a non-winner. You know what I mean, because if you're brewing a style, what separates a style?
That's okay. So that's a great question. And so brewing competitions it's very subjective. It's like gymnastics or figure skating, where it's open to interpretation of the judges. And judges aren't all good. They aren't all knowledgeable. Sometimes judges have colds, so their perceptions are different.
They have colds, so they just
you can't taste shit when you have a cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like you have to call off on that. Like, look, bro. That's one of the few acceptable professions where having a cold is a reason to call the fuck off. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. So, but no, it's very subjective. It's not like, some of the Olympic events where you can just, set a stopwatch and time people. There's no hard parameters.
Yeah.
Beer judging is very subjective, and it's great if you win. If you don't win, you can just sort of blame the judges and style guidelines and things. But there are, one example is like dog judging, where there's breeds of dogs, and you can sort of what it means. You have to be the right height, the right weight, the right length. And, that's what makes a good dog. There's similar things for each style of beer, but, you always question who writes these guidelines. What does it mean to be a Helis Lager? I don't think there's any such thing as an amber IPA. So we just call this beer an amber IPA. Probably not going to win an award, but we like to drink it.
And I've heard stories of brewers gaming, what are the low entries, or there are only 10 applicants for pale ale, and they'll go after a pale ale if there's, not a ton of competition, or like the Beardy Garden from Mindful with the mushrooms in it.
Yeah, just so everybody know, this is Buzzy's the first appearance on 132 episodes. We finally got Buzzy in the studio in a chair talking into a microphone. This is
cheers, guys.
It's just a hell of an occasion worth of cheers. Shout out to Buzzy. If you're listening to this and you're like, you hear us always talk about Epicast and the sound quality and all other shit, that's Buzzy. That's the fucking madman. He just sits in this goddamn, and the chair is mad royal looking. It's a very executive chair, and he just sits there in front of his fucking screens. He's got several screens. He's even got those screens on his phone. I don't even know how the fuck he does it, but he's engineered from satellite locations, and he's just always doing this shit, and that's why we sound as great as we do. So thank you, Buzzy, for what you do. And he's here on the cast. That's Buzzy. Oh, everybody, he's always a dude in the background, yelling some shit to correct us. It's Trogs.
I saw the Nugget Nectar bottle. Where'd you find one of those?
Actually, our last podcast, Scott McTaggart, he brought a few bottles, and one of those were the Nugget Nectars, which I didn't realize it was that hard.
It's nice and oxidized by now.
Harsh, man.
I don't even know what the fuck you guys just talking. See, that was an inside.
It's not
brewer.
fresh. It tastes like probably copper penny-ish, right?
Copper penny-ish.
That's what happens when you have danky IPAs and they get old.
Yeah,
I
I don't think I have enough of a refined palate.
Oh, you could if you compared a fresh headhunter to something 2 months, even 3 months old, it'd be night and day.
There's some where I'm like, nah, this is, and I guess if I tasted them back to back, I would be able to tell.
And it's not necessarily bad. It's just a different, Some beers hold up after that happens, and it tastes great. But most of the danky IPAs turn into crap after a few months.
So IPAs do not age.
No, unless they're meant to age, like aged in bourbon barrels, or Usually IPAs aren't meant to sit on a shelf.
And that's exactly because the hop flavors and aromas drop out pretty quickly. There's some running jokes that if a famous IPA is more than a couple days old, it's not worth drinking.
I've had IPA fresh from like being canned, and it was better a week later. Like once it sit and mellowed a little bit.
Exactly. So you have a month or two, no matter what people say, but after maybe 3 or 4 months, IPAs drop off pretty quickly. So I think that sort of fuels the local boom in breweries that, I enjoy things from the West Coast and I enjoy things from Europe. But, there's travel time, there's beating up of the beers in warm conditions. So, the beers are good and they're drinkable, but there's nothing like a fresh local beer.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, that really is, for me as well, like getting it straight from the fucking, like, the tap at the brewery. There's nothing like that. I mean, it's just really, and again, I'm admittedly not really good at tasting some of the variances when it comes to age or whatever, or what I mean, like, but I know a fresh one. You know what I mean? Like that shit it's just an experience that, and even if you take it, and like, you got crowlers and growlers and, like cans and the whole nine or whatever, but like there's nothing like that fucking just straight, and it's frosty and it's handing it's like, it's like drinking milk straight from the cow's teat. You know what I mean?
That's a wonderful analogy.
I'm still waiting to get some unpasteurized milk, man. Like I hear it's fucking. I'm a big milk drinker. I drink probably about a gallon of milk a week. I mean, like, and it's all pasteurized. And I hear that this unpasteurized milk is like the fucking.
I think it's illegal in some states.
Well, you can.
I'm sure it's illegal.
But if you know any farmer, that's what they're drinking.
See,
you can buy it. I know there's a place out where I'm from that will do it because I as a brewer, I also make cheese from time to time, and you need unpasteurized.
Wait. Wait. Do you like, you're like, oh yeah, as a brewer, I make cheese. I've never heard anybody just like connect those two. Like, yeah, I'm just brewing cheese. How? What's the connection there?
Well, if you go to a local homebrew supply shop, they will have cheese making kits. It's like a lot of the same stuff. It's sort of just like you get your unpasteurized milk and you add some enzymes, and after some time, you have cheese. So at pretty much any homebrew supply shop will have cheese making supplies. And it's kind of one of the tricks is tracking down unpasteurized milk. And some local places will do it. They might make you sign a release form or something, but it is possible. Maybe they do it under the table. I probably shouldn't. I should stop talking about it.
You blowed up the connect. You blowed up the connect. Like, they're like, no more for you, bro. Like, we heard 132 of Drinking Partners, bro. You're cut off. Like,
I've had people bring me raw milk from a CSA, and I know I've saw on your website that you guys community sponsored agriculture.
Yeah. The fuck is that?
So,
y'all about to get into this whole thing, and I'm like a listener at home. I don't even know what the fuck I see because community.
You and your family, or you and your friends, or just you can buy stock into a farm or buy a portion of the farm, and you pay monthly or you pay upfront. Everyone's different, right? And you get delivered fresh veggies from that farm, whatever's popular that week, every week.
Really?
And eggs and sometimes cheese. Each one's different, and each one has different things, but you can, buy into a farm and you get everything they make.
That's super dope. If I was the type of person that ate things to live longer, I would definitely sign on to that. But at this point,
you got sausages and cheeses too.
Oh, you get sausage?
Oh, yeah, you can.
Sausage and cheese? You see, I can do the sausage and cheese. And once you start shipping me carrots and broccoli and shit, I'm like, man, that's not my thing. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not encouraging other people to not eat cheese. You definitely should be eating, you should probably do everything I don't do. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not for me. But like, that is a super dope. I'd imagine it's cheaper than going to the grocery store.
Yeah, and you get a ton.
Yeah, and then and then you're talking about like knocking out. It's local.
You're not paying the oil to ship an apple
Exactly.
across the
Yeah. So it's
country.
environmentally,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, more sound, and it's local community. It's microeconomics. You know what I mean? Like
It's delivered to your front door, basically.
You ain't even got to go to China. You know what I mean? You ain't got to go down the street. And you're like, it's just boom right here. I mean, I got fresh shit.
And you can drink good beer while you pick up your stuff.
That is.
So you guys do a CSA through the brewery?
Yeah, so we're a host site. So
Awesome.
it's I don't know what to say. Fellowship Foods basically drops off stuff at our place every Thursday, and we get a bunch of stuff. People show up, they have a couple beers, they grab veggies, meat, cheese, fruit, and it's a pretty good deal. Awesome. It's nice for a local brewery to support local farms, and people are quite happy.
Awesome. That's what we see a lot with the brew. Like we just came from Trogs, and as big as they are, they're still reaching out to their local orchards and local farmers, and try if there's a new hop farmer in the area, they try to get him a big contract right up front, which is it's cool to see. They always reach out local, which is
and
it works on a scale. If as big as they are, if it's working, then it can work. Especially for the smaller people.
Yeah, and I didn't realize, but I mean all that like mash that you guys is that what I'm doing? The mash, then it goes to like feed cows and shit.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah. So with a 15-barrel production facility, it takes about approximately 1,000 pounds of grain per brew. So malt generally comes in 50-pound sacks. We use a lot of European malts, which is 25 kilograms. If you want to do the math, it's 54 pounds. But whatever, between 18 and 22 sacks of malt per brew. So we have a local farmer. Farmer Fred is our good guy. He lives about a quarter mile away, and he takes our grain.
Farmer Fred.
Farmer Fred, yeah. Oh God, he's a fucking awesome man. He takes our grains. He gave us this little cart. We can just put our grains in. It takes us about 7 minutes to put all the grains in the cart, and then we wheel it out. He hooks up to his pickup and takes it away. So it's really cool because he's doing us a favor. Grain kind of stinks, man. It's
no, it does.
It's like
some stinky shit.
Yeah, it's like 1,000 pounds of like fiber and starch.
10 minutes after you take it out of the tank, it starts to turn into...
Yeah, especially in July or June. You know what I mean? Like it's terrible. So we would have to pay a lot of money to get it taken away, but the farmers take it and like it for animal feed. So Farmer Fred has about 43 head of cattle, and he feeds it to them. He can feed them, for 3 or 4 days. And, if we're brewing every 10 days, he's pretty happy. So it's a nice synergy in the local community. So in addition to the CSA support, the local farmers and the local breweries, like it's kind of cool.
Yeah. And so, you brew beer, that mash goes to feed cows. Yeah. Cows give us fucking delicious meat and cheeses and milks and shit like that. So when you buy a beer, you're supporting that steak. You know what I mean? Like you're supporting that cheese. You're supporting Like I drink for the economy. Drink for like that. Yeah, I mean, even if you're not a beer drinker, like and that's people turn in like I don't drink beer. You eat steak. Well, you should be supporting this motherfucking brewery because that steak is courtesy of this motherfucking beer I'm drinking right now. I mean, you're welcome. I mean, that's how I feel. You're welcome.
Well, it's actually a very controversial topic. And I know there was a battle out in California because, I'm very small. At Helicon, we do, 1,000 pounds of grain per brew. And we brew, once every 2 weeks or so, 10 days. Out in California, there's breweries making hundreds of thousands of barrels of beer a year. And they've got all these grains and they're supplying local farmers. So there's actually farming communities building up around these breweries because they have free feed. Now, what happens is that the people that make animal feed are getting kind of grumpy because they say, wait a second, if we want to make feed for cows, we have all these regulations and restrictions and we have to be tested. These brewers just want to give feed away. So it's controversial. I don't know what ever came out of it, but, whatever.
I mean, so to sell it, you have to be regulated, but to just give it away, you can just give it away.
You would think it's that easy. You would think that's how it works, but
Like, do you guys have like regulations or something that you got to go through in order to like, you know what I mean, like give this away, or do you just be like call a guy and like, yo, come through, I got some, you know what I mean, some of that good.
So Farmer Fred takes it for his cows, but he is not selling it as products.
Yeah.
Anything you want to sell to people to eat is very strictly regulated.
Oh yeah.
So
you're not giving it to people.
Right. But for the cows that you are going to be eaten by people, there's like a little layer of bullshit that you got to deal with.
Yeah.
So, but whatever. I think it worked out well, and it's going to work out well for everybody.
Nice. This is super drinkable, and it's slightly deceptive. I mean, when I say deceptive, I mean like it's drinkable. But you know, like I said, I forget this is 7.1. It's pretty dope. Pretty dope. How did you meet Andy? How did you guys get into this?
So I was very involved in homebrewing communities for basically my entire brewing career, and you just sort of always keep your eye out. I know I was building a brewery. And there's lots of guys who. So if you want to get started if you want to become a head brewer, right? Get involved in homebrew clubs. Become a beer judge. Brew competitively. There's a way to make a name for yourself, and I know a lot of guys locally who are now head brewers or who have built breweries. Sort of got their start that way. It's an amazing way to meet people. It's an amazing way to establish yourself and get to know people.
I'm scared for brewers that are opening up breweries that aren't in that scene. That their friends all have all drank their beer, and all their friends say yeah, but they haven't taken their beer to 50 other home brewers to get to build and learn from. And there are people.
What dickhead is about to open, like what dickhead is opening up?
We don't need the name. We don't need names.
It just sounds like it's one thing, because I know like in comedy, like people are like, oh man, all the people at the water cooler think I'm fucking like the funniest dude, and like I always get people that are just like, oh, I should be a comic, and people talk, like I was just at a show, a couple nights ago or whatever, and they were like, well, yeah, shit, my friend does this. We should get him on stage here. And I'm like, I don't think you understand what the stage is. This stage isn't an open mic. You know what I mean? Like, everybody on this stage has put in fucking years of blood, sweat, and tears in order to get on this or whatever. Like, your friend from work isn't about to, like, do this. And if they do it, they'll probably be fucking trash. Like, you
never know though. Who knows? Sometimes
it's once in a blue. You know what I mean? Like, but those are again like Ed is one of those random dudes. The first time I saw him on stage, I was like, this dude is a fucking golden child. Like, I was like, hey, he's ridiculously funny. You know what I mean? He had, but like, but when you're talking about opening up a brewery, because like there's one thing to be funny with people that as opposed, because everybody's gonna give you the like, oh yeah, no, I mean, as opposed to like actually getting that hardcore feedback, like, nah, motherfucker, you need to, so like, but with comedy, there's no money involved, just going and doing an open mic, open up a whole ass brewery, and nobody has tasted your shit that actually doesn't like you. That's weird.
Yeah.
Does that happen?
Absolutely. So,
Jesus.
I think one thing that will separate out breweries in the future, in Western PA and all over the United States is, there's a distinct difference between people who love it, who are home brewers and judges, and they appreciate it and they know good beer, and people that have a few dollars and just want to open a place and are going after the money grab because, hey, open a brewery, make a ton of bucks. You don't make a ton of bucks opening a brewery, I'll just tell you that. But you know what? The people that are passionate about it and really love it and are going to do it, I think are going to succeed ultimately. And the people just after a few dollars who surround themselves with yes men are going to have some trouble. So we'll see how it shakes out.
Parallels, man. I mean, just in life, man. Find some no men. Find some motherfucking people that are just going to be like, nah, bruh. You know what I mean? Like, because it's very easy to get fucking lost. I mean, and you look at a lot of people, you look at like, your successful stars or whatever, and they do wild shit and they veer off, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? They don't have no men. They don't have people there to say, like, yo, man, maybe you shouldn't pop like 13 mollies and then like, you know what I mean? Like, just, drive your car off a bridge somewhere. I mean, like, maybe you should chill out tonight.
Well, that's why it was very important. So I became a beer judge a couple years ago, and the head brewer, Andy Weigel, is a higher ranking beer judge than I. So we both are kind of able to know if our beer is good or not. We don't need people to tell us, if it's good or not. We know,
do you have to take tests to be judged? To be a judge?
Yeah. So there's all kind of tasting and written exams.
Yeah, Trogs was telling us how they have, if anybody on the team, whether you're a car parker or whatever, can qualify to do it. But some people have it. Some people instinctively have the taste buds to taste it. Some people don't. Some people will never be able to do that. And they have, a taste test, a written test, and then that's just to prepare you for taking the the bigger test, just to be able to judge beers.
Well, that's what's amazing is so a large part of it is genetics, right? Some people, there are thresholds of taste, and some people have it and some people don't.
And super tasters that can just
exactly. So the word. But for all the different 24 off flavors that are most common in beer, some people can perceive them, some people can't. So finding the right mix and trying to get it right, I think Andy and I have it down. And I hope we're doing good things.
Yeah, you are doing good things. Again, this is my first introduction to your beer. I think I may have had it a couple of years ago at a beer festival. Were you at a beer festival at some point? Because I know you guys were. You guys
was a brewery
Craft Beer Week Media Day.
Yeah. Oh, we had okay, there it was. All right. Yeah. Because I'm like, I know I've met. So yeah, no, but this is definitely good shit. And we're excited to see where you guys go. Before we get out of here, what is your favorite form of potato?
Permane sandwich, French fries on a sandwich.
So French fries are your favorite
specifically
form.
on a sandwich.
So they got to be on a sandwich
with coleslaw. I'm not a huge potato guy. But
I don't know if anybody is a huge potato the two most highly consumed things are chicken and potatoes because they are so versatile. Nobody hates potatoes. Yeah, that's the thing. Nobody hates potatoes, but you might not fucking get your nipples might not get hard over the thought of potatoes, but you definitely eat a lot of fucking potatoes at some point. I don't know too many people that don't eat a lot of fucking potatoes. But yeah, for French fries is your thing.
Yeah, fresh cut fries.
Hand cut? Man, hand cut is the fucking way to go. I don't know why more people don't do it. It's so cheap. All you need is a hand cut cutter. That's a one-time investment. And then you just get fucking dumbass potatoes and you just fucking pull that shit down and it is done. It's quick as he throwing in some fucking grease. It's hard to fuck up. You ain't got to put any seasoning in it. It's hard to fuck up.
Dumbass potatoes.
You just slay and throw them in the grease, sprinkle a little salt, done. You know what I mean?
Nothing is worse than goddamn frozen fries. If you put in the frozen fries in a bag that you just put out there and they're soggy and shit, that's the worst.
See, yeah, exactly. It's I don't understand. And I feel like they're more expensive. It's it got to be more expensive than just a bag of fucking potatoes. A bag of just fucking regular ass potatoes, just cut them bitches. It takes
some russets.
It takes one fucking hand movement and then boom, you're in there or whatever. Why frozen? Why all this whatever? Because they're not even that decent. Well, you know what? I can go on this for, but again, you do feel a way about potatoes. In some, yeah.
I have a very
yeah. Nice. Well, thank you for coming onto the cast, man.
Thank you for having me
and bringing this delicious brew. Tell the people where they can find you.
102 Union Avenue, Oakdale, PA, right on the Panhandle Trail, just outside of Robinson. Come check us out.
Nice. And online?
Oakdale, heliconbrewing.com and Facebook, Helicon Brewing.
Nice. You guys got any events coming up?
No, we're just kind of getting into the food truck thing. But that's kind of it. We're kind of low key, word of mouth, maybe a podcast here and there when we can, but not much. So
nice.
Thanks for listening.
All right. Thank you for coming. Buzzy, where can they find you?
Epicast.tv or epicastnetwork.com. And my personal stuff, Instagram, btoric, and the search for me on Facebook. Probably the only Buzzy in Pittsburgh.
Not a lot of Buzzy.
One of them.
There. Yeah, no. Yeah. So you got that.
Look for the hairy dude.
Nice. Well, we are Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/Drinking Partners. Oh, You can find us at epicastnetwork.com/partnerspod. That's at 7-1, man. It's deceptive. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, and Google Play under Drinking Partners. And you can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod.
Drinking Partners is the crew. Epicast is the family. Yeah.